In this lecture, I will guide you how to write code for checking the uniqueness of user email when creating a new user. According to the functional requirement of the project, the user email must be unique in the database. There won't be two users having the same email. So far, we have some users in the database, as you can see here. Now, I'm trying to create a new user with the email is SMS. This user's email, Ravi. Create new user, and user email is ravi@gmail.com. First name John, last name Doe, password John 2020, and row editor, and click save. And you can see we got an error, internal server error, and the cause of the error is constraint violation exception. Here you can see duplicate entry, ravi@gmail.com for the uniqueness, for the key unique in the user's table. So instead of showing this very technical error message, we should display a friendly warning like this right above the user form. So it will allow the admin to change the email and continue the creation of a user. And you can see the warning message should be there is another user having the email. So in Java code, we need to create a new RESTful web service controller class, user REST controller, to expose the web service method, check duplicate email that will be consumed by a client, which is the user form here. When the save button in the user form is clicked, before submitting the data to the server, it will make an exact call to the web service method, which in turn invokes the email unique in the user service class, which in turn invokes the get user by email method in the user repository interface. And the main logic for checking the uniqueness of user email is implemented in the email unique method of the user service class. So we need to declare the get user by email method in the user repository interface, plus writing a unit test for that method, and implement the email unique method in the user service class, and code the user REST controller class to expose the web service method, and update the user form.html page using jQuery to make an exact call to the RESTful web service, and show a modal dialog using Bootstrap to display the warning message. Okay, let's coding. Go to the user repository interface here, and here we need to declare a custom method in this interface to retrieve user object by email. Public user get user by email, and we have a parameter in this method, so we use a param annotation with param name is email, and then a variable of type string email, and we use the query annotation here to specify a custom JPA query. The query is select u from user u, where u.email equal to the value of the parameter email. That's it. Very simple. And then open the user repository test class in the test package here, user repository test, and write a new test method. The test method name is test get user by email, and we want to fire user with this email string email equal abcdef.com, and of course this test should fail because no users having this email in the database. As you can see here, all the emails of all users here you see, and we call repo get user by email, passing the email here, and it returns the user object here, just user, and we will search that where this user is not known. Okay, now let's run this test method. Run as unit test. You see the test failed, and you can see uh, expecting actual not to be null, but the actual value is null, meaning that there's no users having this email. Now I want to search for this email, ravi@gmail.com here, and then the test should succeed. Okay, run the test method again. Okay, you see the test has passed successfully here with the green check mark here, and in the console view you can see it prints the SQL select statement from the users table here. That's it. That means the method get user by email is properly implemented. Next, let's code the method is email unique in the user service class for checking the uniqueness of user email when creating a new user. So come back to the project and open the user service class, and we write code for a new method. Public boolean is email unique with parameter is the user email, and in this method we retrieve a user object based on email user repo get user by email with argument is email here, and it returns user object user by email. And for the purpose of checking uniqueness of user email when creating a user, we just check if the user by email is null or not. So here we just return user by email equal null. The comparison of the user by email object against null here. If it returns true, that means the user email is unique, because user by email is null, meaning that no existing user in the database having this email. Otherwise, if the user by email object is not null, that means the given email is not unique. So that's very simple. Remember that for the purpose of creating a new user. Next, let's create the user REST controller class to expose the web service method check duplicate email that will be consumed by the client is the user form here. So create a new class under this package, new class user REST controller. This is Spring RESTful web service controller, so we need to use the annotation REST controller here. And in this REST controller class, we need to have a reference to the user service class, user service, and we need to use the auto-wire annotation. And here we implement only method for checking the uniqueness email of user here, public string check duplicate email with parameter is the user email. So we use param annotation here. Param name is email and the variable is string email. And we need to use the post mapping annotation for this RESTful web service method with the URL is slash user slash check underscore email. And for the sake of simplicity, we don't return a JSON object here. We just return a string based on the return value of the email unique method in the user service class. So here we return service is email unique for the given email. If this method return true, this web service return the string is okay. Else return the string duplicated. That's it. Very simple. And save the changes. Next, let's write some JavaScript code in the user form HTML page here using jQuery to make an exact call to the web service method on the server here. So open the user form page in the template directory here, user underscore form. Okay, the JavaScript section here. And we write a new JavaScript method here, function, new JavaScript function. Check email unique with parameter is a form. And this method is invoked on submit of the form here, the form tag here, and we specify the handler method for the on submit event of the form here. Return the value of the method check email unique, passing the this meaning that the form itself. Okay, and here we just return false, meaning that we prevent the form from submission. And for testing purpose, just alert something here. Check email unique. And let's test in the create new user form. Go back here, users, create new user, view page source, and you can see the JavaScript code here. And I enter any email. John Doe, password, row, and click save. And you can see the alert check email unique here. Okay, and you can see it prevents the form from submitting, and because the check email unique method returns false here. And here I specify the URL of the web service. So I use timelift here. The URL is in the user REST controller here. Copy and paste here. And I get the value of the email field in the form. User email equal to the query selector for the field email. And because the field email has the ID email here, because we use the th field syntax here. Okay, then we make an exact call to the RESTful web service using jQuery dot post method here. with parameters the URL and params is the user email. Params here is an array, and for testing the new user function, we just include the user email here. Okay, and this post method have the third parameter is the callback function, which is invoked when the client gets the response from the server. Function response, and here for initial testing we just alert a response from server. Okay. Sorry, we need to get the value of the email field, so dot var here. Okay, now let's test users. Create new user and enter an email which is not existing in the database. For example, here, and first name is John Low John editor, and click save, and nothing happens. I think we got an error. So open the developer tools here to see the error. You can see the error HTTP status code 304 here. Let's see on the server side in the console view here. We see nothing here. Don't worry, I will show you how to fix this kind of error. So in the browser you can see the error is 403 here. Failed to load a resource. The server responded with the status of 403, meaning that the request is forbidden. It is because Spring Security requires a CSRF token. View the page source here. You can see Spring Security generates special value here. You see a special value here, name underscore CSRF here with the value here. You see a token for the form for security purpose. So we need to pass this underscore CSRF value along with the request in the AJAX core. Okay, here. So we need to read the value CSRF here equal to the query selector underscore CSRF here and var here. Sorry, because in the page source here it is the name, not an ID. View page source, you can see it is the name, no ID for this hidden field. So we need to use input name equal underscore CSRF here, and passing the CSRF value along with the params of the request here, CSRF here. Okay, save the change and test again. Refresh new user form, enter email John Doe and password row, and click save. Nothing happens. Open the developer tools here. We got the same error. Let's view the page source. My mistake. I need to specify the name of the parameter here. The parameter name for email is email and colon, and the value is a user email. And here's the parameter name of the CSRF token is underscore CSRF here, and colon, and CSRF value here. Okay, now test again. Enter email, John Doe, password, and click save. And you see we got the response from server. Okay, meaning that the email is unique. It doesn't exist in the database. Perfect, right? So when making an AJAX call to the server with Spring Security, we need to pass the CSRF value as parameter in the post request here to pass the security check of Spring Security. Now test again with an email that is already in the database. Here I copy this email, then it's marked here, and paste into the form here, and click the save button, and you can see response from the server duplicated here. Perfect, right? Click OK, and if I just change a letter here, it should say that OK. You can see, sorry, change a letter here, click save, and you can see it says OK here. Okay, so far so good. And let's update the code here in the callback function. Here we check if the response is okay, then we allow the form to be submitted to the server. Here form dot submit. Else if the response is equal to duplicated, then we show the warning message, and the warning message is there is another user having the email, and then the actual email, which is user email variable here. Okay, save the change and test creating a new user. Refresh the new user form, and now let me create a new user with an email that is already in the database. John Doe. Click save. Oh, sorry, the email name at codejava.net doesn't exist in the database before, so it allows the form to be submitted and the user details is stored in the database. Perfect, right? Now let me create another user having this email, John Doe, password, and click save, and we got the warning. There is another user having the email name at codejava.net. Yeah, perfect, right? Lastly, I will show you how to use Bootstrap with JavaScript code to show the warning message in a nice modal dialog like this, instead of using the default alert box provided by the browser. So we need to write some HTML code with Bootstrap classes for the modal dialog. We can write the code here, right before the footer here, a new div section for the modal dialog here, with the class is modal, and with the fade effect, and center the text on the modal dialog, and we assign ID to this div element modal dialog, and inside this div we have another subdiv for the model dialog with the class is a model dash dialog, and then we have another nested div with the class is model dash content, and inside this we have the model header div class equal model dash header. The header of the model dialog here, you see the header here, warning here, you see. And we use the heading for the model title, which the class is model dash title, and we assign an ID for this element so the title can be updated. Model title, and the default title is warning, and then we have button, the closed button here, the closed button here, you see, button type equal button, and the class is closed, and we need to specify this special attribute data dash dismiss equal model, and we use the special character to display the close icon here times here, and below the model header is the model body, so we use the class model dash body here, and inside the body we have a span section for the message span ID equal model body. So JavaScript code we can update the message by this ID model body. And the last section of the model dialog is the footer div class equal model dash footer, and in the footer we just have the close button here, you see, button type equal button with the bootstrap class is btn and btn and dangle. We display the button in red color, and we copy the data dismiss here, and the text is closed here. That's it for the HTML code of the model dialog using bootstrap classes, you see here. Then we can test showing the model dialog here before sending an Ajax post request here. To show the model we can use the query selector with ID of the model dialog, and then call the method model here, and if true return false to skip the rest code here to just testing showing the model dialog. Okay, refresh the new user form. Click save button, and you can see the model dialog appears here, pretty nice, right? And we can click the close button, click the close icon to dismiss the model dialog, but somehow it doesn't get closed. You can click outside the model dialog to dismiss it. Let me check the HTML code of the model here. Sorry, I have mistake here. The data dismissed here. Okay, and test again. Enter email. Click save. And you can see the model dialog here. Now we can click the close button to dismiss it. Sorry, I have mistake again here. Data dismissed. So I can click the close icon here. You see. Now test again with the closed button. Save, and you can see. And I click close button here to dismiss the model dialog. Perfect, right? Then let's update JavaScript code to display the real warning message based on the response from the server here. So I write a function here, function show model dialog with given title and message. So we can reuse this method, and here we use jQuery selector to select the model title and set value for it where title here, sorry, text title, and also set the text for the model body message, and finally show the model dialog here. So here, if the server returns the response duplicated here, we show the model dialog, show model dialog with the title is a warning, and the message is there is another user having the email. Okay, save the changes and let's test this warning message. Refresh new user form and enter an email which is already in the database, and then it's marked here. Click save, and you can see the warning message appears here. There is another user having the email, then it's marked 23 here. Perfect, right? Close. And we'll also need to show the model dialog if the response from server is not in either case okay or duplicated. So we have the else block here. If this happens, we show the model dialog here with the title is error and message is unknown response from server. And the query also provides a callback function for the post method here in case it fails to connect to the server. Fail callback method here, execute a function here, and in case of failure here we should show the model dialog which is with the title is error here, and the message is could not connect to the server, for example. And for testing purpose, I change the URL of the web service here. Okay, and let's test again. Refresh, enter email, first name, last name, password, and click save. and you can see the model dialog appears with the title is error and the message is could not connect to the server. Perfect, right? Close. Okay, so far so good. Let's undo the change here and let's test create a new user. User, create new user, and this time I enter an email which is already in the database for this user. Mike gets here. First name Mike, last name gets password. Click save, and you can see the warning message. There is another user having the email Mike gets here. Perfect, right? So as an admin user, I can know the reason and I can change the email here. Now I change the email to billwest@yahoo.com, for example. First name Bill, last name gets a role assistant, and click save. And you can see the message the user has been saved successfully, and you can see the new user Bill West appears here with the role assistant here. Perfect. That's really awesome, right? So we have done the coding for checking uniqueness of user email when creating a new user.